So, greetings for the day. Welcome to another class of computer networks. I am Muhammad Rahmat Ali. So, we'll be continuing from the last session where we stopped. So, we'll be continuing with the routing algorithms. In the last session, we studied about the OSI model, ISO model, TCP/IP model, and the different types and the difference between the datagram and virtual circuit type of things. So in today's session we are going to learn about the algorithms, the routing algorithms. The main intention of using the network layer is the routing. So in today's session we are going to learn about routing algorithms and three types of routing algorithms. So let me jump into the class and let me start with the routing algorithm. Now, routing algorithm is something like which will switch or which will route the packet from one router to another router, or in the sense the transfer of the files or the packets or the data from one router to another router or from the source to the destination is called as routing, and the instructions and the program that is being used to do such are called as routing algorithms. So in simple I can say the programs or what we call as a set of instruction which is being used to forward or to transfer the file from the receiver side to the sender side or from the sender side to the receiver side is called as routing algorithms. These type of things are called as routing algorithms. Now coming towards the presentation, what it says, the main function of network layer is routing packets from source machine to the destination machine. In the sense, when a packet which is there on one router, how it can be routed, how it can be sent from one router to another router, or from one network to another network, or from the source machine to the destination machine. This all responsibility is under the network layer. So network layer is responsible for routing of the packets from the source to the destination. Now coming towards, there are two processes inside a router. What is the two process? The first process is one of them handles each packet as it arrives, looking up the outgoing lines to use for it in the routing table. This process is called forwarding. Forwarding in the sense, what are the things that is coming into the router, and it will see what are the major lines on which that packet can be routed, in which the route or in which that packet can be sent or that packet can be through to reach the particular destination. That is what you call as routing of the things. Now coming towards the next thing is the other process is responsible for filling and updating the routing table. That is where the routing algorithms comes into play. This process is called as routing. Actually this is called as routing. Routing in the sense, the packet which has arrived on the network, the packet that has arrived on the network, where it is to be routed or where it is to be sent, that process is called as routing. As well as when it is sending on the different line, it will store the address or it will store the information where it has been stored, so that when another packet comes, it can reroute on that. Or it can also be set in this way, when a router sends a packet, it will store the value, the time and the amount of things, or the what you call as the buffer size that it has taken, so that the shortest path can be taken, or what are the alternative paths that are being used to route that table. For all those reasons, routing algorithm is there. For every of the router there will be a router table which will tell you where that packet will go. It has all of the information of all of the routers, so that from one router, from router A, the information can be sent to router C, router B, router D, or router Z. It can be sent to any of the things. How it knows? It knows due to the network table. Network table is something like a dictionary, or not actually a dictionary. It is something like a directory, I can say. It is like a directory in which everything is being stored, from where things come to where it should go, what is the shortest route, what is the alternate route, what are the other routers which are been connected. All of this information will be stored in the router table. Now coming forward, what it says, regardless of whether routes or routes are chosen independently for each packet or only when new connections are established, certain properties are desirable in routing algorithm. What are the properties? Correctness, simplicity, robustness, stability, fairness, and optimality. Now what are these three things, or what are these 4-5 things? What it says? It says like, whenever I am sending a packet, it should reach the proper destination. Or you can say in simpler ways, like when you order something on Flipkart or Amazon or any of the online website, there you write your address. So that address or that packet should be sent to that particular address only. It should reach within the time, it should be secure, as well as it should reach on time or on date that is being mentioned. So these all things comes under all these things. Like for instance, you ordered a glass or you ordered something like from Amazon. The moment you ordered, you have given the shipment address. So now it's the responsibility of Amazon to keep that parcel or to keep that thing safely, and it should be delivered on time, and it should see that if at all there is any of the mistake, it should be replaced or it should be taken back. So these all things should be taken to maintain a good quality of communication. In the same way, when it comes to computer networks or routing algorithms, what is the criteria? The criteria is, it should be correctness, it should be simplicity, it should be with robustness, it should have stability, it has fairness in the routing, and also it should be optimal. This is the main thing. But because taking a long route doesn't reach, like it will take more efforts, as well as the packet will be received lately. If you consider with reference to your internet, if your speed of your internet is less, the amount of data that you will be receiving from the server will be less. If the internet speed is good, you will receive more amount of data. That is what you call as as the speed is increasing, the incoming of data is also increasing. Now coming towards the next one, what it says, routing algorithms can be grouped into two major classes. What are the two major classes? Non-adaptive and adaptive. Non-adaptive in the sense, it will have static routing. You can consider the example of static routing as a railway track. Railway track in the sense, whenever a railway track is being laid, that is only the place where the train can move. That is the only place a train can move. Whereas adaptive or dynamic routing is like a roadways, in which you can move your vehicle from any of the place on from any of the road. But whereas a train cannot move anywhere and anywhere else on the track, because it has its own track and it should follow that track. That type of routing or that type of moving is called as static routing. In the sense, whenever a packet is being sent to the router, it will take only the path which is mentioned to be sent on that path. In the sense, it has a route, or it should follow a path, and that path is to be followed, and also it is being predefined. The static routing is predefined so that it will follow only that path. Whereas the dynamic routing is something like, if at all there is a traffic congestion at one place, you will take an alternate route. If at all there is some network breakage, you will take an alternate route. If at all, if there is something, congestion is happening at the router will take another route or dynamic path so that the packet can be received on time. Now coming forward, what it says, non-adaptive algorithms do not base their routing decisions or measurements or estimate of the current traffic and topology. What it means, like the topology in the sense how the network is been connected. Like there are different types of topologies. The topology means how a computer network is been connected, like the bus topology, ring topology, star topology, mesh topology. There are different types of topologies, and it is not it is like a network of computers wherein one computer has been connected with another computer so that they can communicate with one another. So in this case, non-adaptive algorithm is not based on that routing decisions. Routing decision in the sense, if at all you want to reach from Charminar to ISL college, or you want to reach from Charminar to some other place, you are taking a route, but in between there is some construction work going on. So what you will do, you will take an alternate route. Whereas in this routing algorithm called non-adaptive algorithm, it will not take an alternate route until and unless that construction work is been completed. After that construction work is completed, then only that route will be taken. So it means this routing table is not based on estimations. It is static and it will always follow the path, or it will always follow the direction and measurement that is been predefined. Instead, the choice of the route to use to go from I to J is computed in advance, offline, and downloaded to the routers when the network is booted. In the sense, whenever if at all I say, like metro train or any other train, it is moving on the road, no, it's not possible, but because it has its own route, it has its own path. So that is the only path that is been taken, and that is the only path that is been mentioned. So it will move only into that path. This procedure is sometimes called static routing. So this is what you call as static type of routing. Where it comes to adaptive algorithm, in contrast, changes the routing decisions to reflect changes in the topology and usually the traffic as well. It means it is totally dependent on the network and type of congestion, the type of congestion that is been there, and the type of network or topology that we are using. In the sense, if at all from node, like I want to reach from node A to node C, so there is a mediator of router called as B. So if at all there is a lot of traffic at B, I will take another route called as D. I will move from A to B, or I will move from A to D, then D to C, or else I can take a path from A to B, B to D, D to E. In a sense, the path is very much dynamic. The path is very much dynamic in non-adaptive type of algorithm. So that is the reason this is what you call as dynamic type of algorithm. So what it says, adaptive algorithm differs in where they get their information. Like in the sense, when it comes to routing table, the routing table has every of the information from every of the router connected to it, and every of the information which is being present to send the packet from the host to the destination. Whether that router will be the next node or the router may be after n nodes. It means this router has something called as a routing table which has every of the information stored into that to reach from one place to another place, or something I can say it is something like a guide. A guide which knows everything, the shortcut way, the long cut way, or the another alternative ways, the second alternative ways. Every of the thing is been known to that guide. In a similar way, a routing table knows everything with reference to routing of the information, or with reference to the sending of the packets from one source to the destination. The second point says, when they change the routes, like when they change the route for every other t second, when the load changes or when the topology changes. In the sense, it will all, like for an instance, like you are moving from Charminar and you want to go to some XYZ place. So when you are moving from Charminar, it is always known that the Charminar place has a traffic. So what you will do, you will take an alternate route so that you can avoid Charminar. You can avoid visiting Charminar. So you will take an alternate route. So in the sense, at every other click of the second, you know like when the traffic will be there, when the traffic will not be there. If at all if you are going at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the night, you will know like there will be no traffic. So you can take that path. Whereas if at all if you go at peak hours like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening, or 2 o'clock in the noon, you know like it will be very much crowded. So you can avoid that type of route. That is the difference between static routing and dynamic routing. So what the next point says, what metric is used for optimizing, in a sense, distance, number of hops, or estimated transmit times. Like distance in the sense, like what is the distance between the source and the destination, the shortest path, number of hops in the sense, number of routers to be connected in between, or estimated transit time. Like for instance, like if at all if I send you hi, you should receive hi within the next second. So this is the estimated time. If at all if you are receiving that message called hi after 7 messages or 8 messages, that is not a correct type of networking. So this should be kept in mind. Like this comes under quality of services when reference to the computer networks. So this is all about the routing algorithms. The non-adaptive and adaptive. Non-adaptive is also called as static algorithm, and adaptive algorithm is also called as dynamic algorithm due to its features of routing the packet from source to destination. Now, coming towards the different types of routing algorithms. What are the different types of routing algorithms? In today's session, we are going to learn about the first three routing algorithms like optimality principle, shortest path algorithm, and flooding. In the next session, we are going to learn about this distance vector routing and other type of routing algorithms. Now, what is this optimality principle? Optimality principle in the sense, this says if at all, moving from one place to another place has a shortest distance, it says the thing which is coming in between also has a shortest path. That is what we call as optimality principle. Now coming towards the definition, what it says, one can make a general statement about optimal routes without regard to network topology or traffic. In the sense, like it is independent of the topology or the traffic. Traffic in the sense, like to make you clear what traffic is all about. For an instance, like there is a router over here. This router can handle 10 operations at 1 second, or 100 operations at 1 second, or 1000 operations per minute. Okay. Now, if at all this router will get a request of 1001 or 101 or 2000 type of requests per second, that will create a traffic. That will create a traffic on that router or on that network. So what is the, like, what will happen if at all if there is a traffic? If at all there is a traffic, in the sense, this router will not perform well, because the requests which are coming is beyond its capacity. It is beyond its capacity. If at all if you are being told to write 2 exams at one instance, you cannot write. You cannot write. Though it is possible of writing 2 exams in one day. How? Morning one exam, evening one exam. But writing 2 exams simultaneously or parallelly with 2 hands is not possible. Why? Because it is beyond your capacity. It is beyond your level. So that is the same thing that applies to a router. In a sense, when a router has a capacity of holding 100 requests at 1 second, if at all if it is getting 101 requests or 102 requests or 110 requests, it means it is beyond its capacity. It is creating a traffic congestion. So what will happen if at all if there is a traffic congestion? The performance of this router will get low. The operation which used to be performed at normal things cannot be performed. The previous operations that were performed will anyhow perform, but the above the capacity operations will be in the queue. This will create delay. This will create what we call as delay in the services. This will create a decrease in the quality of services. So this will happen. Now what it says, this is what we call as traffic congestion. Actually, this is actually called a traffic congestion. Now what it says, one can make general statement about optimal routes without regard to network topology. As I have said, network topology in the sense how the network is being connected, how the network of routers or how the networks of computers has been connected to create an internetwork or to create a network of communication. So this statement is known as optimality principle. It states if router J is on the optimal path from router I to router K. Okay, this is router I and this is router K. What it says? It says if at all router J is on the optimal path from router I to router K, then the optimal path from J to K falls along the same. In the sense, if at all there is an optimal solution between these two, if at all something is coming in between, the optimal solution will be considered through this. This is what you call as optimality principle. This is what you call as optimality principle. What it says, as a direct consequence of optimal principle, we can see that the set of optimal routes from all the source to the given destination from a tree rooted at the destination. In the sense, if at all I am sitting at a place XYZ and the distance between XYZ and to ABC is something called as 10 kilometers. If at all there is also a place from where I can move to that ABC place taking an KLMN place with the shortest path, then it means this path connecting falls also in optimality principle. This whole operation is called as optimality principle. Understood? I repeat it once again. If at all there are two nodes called as I and K, then a router which is in between this I and K has the optimal path to these two routers. This is what we call as optimality principle. Like with this network, by this, the diagram you can understand the optimal path that can be taken. Like if you see over here from the distance between A, B, C and all those things, to create an optimal path in the sense like the shortest way that we can reach, whatever the distance it might be, the shortest path or the shortest cost that it will take is called as optimal solution. Or if I give you an example, if I give you an example, like for an instance, you want to fly from India to, for instance, like to Canada. If you want to take a flight from India to Canada, the direct flight cost $100 for an instance. So a connecting flight from India to Canada via Dubai is costing you approximately about 80. It means this route is the optimal route. The route from India to Dubai to Canada is the optimal route on the route of India to Canada. This is what we call as optimality principle. This concept is called as optimality principle. This diagram depicts that type of thing, creating a sync tree. So this is what we call as the concept of optimality principle. Now moving towards the next type of routing algorithm, which says shortest path routing. Okay, now what do you mean by shortest path routing? In this type of algorithm or in this type of things, we will see the shortest distance possible from one router to another router, or from one computer to another computer. For instance, if I tell you, like there is like moving from Hyderabad to Delhi, the direct distance is 2000 kilometers. Now, if you are taking from Hyderabad to Maharashtra to Delhi, it is 300 kilometers. So, what is the shortest path? The shortest path is directly from Hyderabad to Delhi. This is the shortest path. Then, what is the alternative path? Alternative path is from Hyderabad to Maharashtra to Delhi. So, this is an alternate path. In this both of the routes, it will calculate the cost. And it will take the shortest path. The same thing applies in the routers. If at all a packet is to be sent from router A to router B or from router A to router C, it will see the shortest path to be sent through all of the routers, so that the packet is been received on time without any delays and without any losing of the packets. Okay. Now what it says, the shortest path algorithms or shortest path routing says the idea is to build a graph of subnet. Subnet in the sense, you already have something like this. You are creating another graph which is a part of that graph. Okay, this part is a part of this graph, like network A and network like this B. This B is a part of this A, creating a shortest path or creating a network, a range of network which depicts the previous one. So that is what we call as subnet. Now, what it says, the idea is to build a graph of the subnet with each node of graph representing a router and each arc of the graph representing a communication line or link. See, if you see over here, from A to B there is a link, from B to C there is a link, from A to D there is a link. Now it will create a path in which I can have an optimal solution. I can have an optimal solution. For instance, if I tell you, like giving a small example, I can explain you what shortest path is all about. Shortest path is all about, you want, like from Mehdipatnam you want to reach a place called Charminar. The reason why I am telling you Charminar is like everyone knows about Charminar. You want from Mehdipatnam you want to reach Charminar. So the direct route from Mehdipatnam to Charminar, or the rent or the cost of the cab from Mehdipatnam to Charminar is 150 rupees. If at all, if you are going from Mehdipatnam to Nampalli, from Nampalli to Charminar, it is costing you approximately about 80 rupees. So what is the shortest path that will be taken? The shortest path that will be taken is from Mehdipatnam to Nampalli, Nampalli to Charminar. So this is the way how a routing path is being selected. This is the way how the things are being calculated based on the expected things. Like for instance, as of now it is costing, like directly it is costing 100 rupees, from Nampalli it is costing 80 rupees. If at all, there is another route which is taking 60 rupees from Mallapalli to Charminar. So at this instance, this will take the third path, the third way. As the network increases, the shortest path will also be increases. This comes under the dynamic type of routing. Okay. Now what it says, to choose a route between a given pair of routers, the algorithm just find the shortest path between them on a graph. So what it does is, like, start with the local node where you are and as the root of the tree. So start from where you are now. Assign the cost of 0 to this node. Like as you are starting, you are not spent any of the rupees. So you are setting it as 0 and make it the first permanent node. Like from where you are starting, make that as the first permanent node. Like see how this is how it goes on from A. Make this as the first permanent node and say the cost as 0. Here the cost is as 0. Now what it says, second thing what it says is, like, examine each neighbor of the node that was the last permanent node. Now what it says, examine the nodes, like what is the nodes that it has. Like from A to G it is saying 6, from A to B it is saying 2. So what is the path that will be taken? The path will be taken from A to B. Now coming, like we will reread the second point. Examine each neighbor of the node that was the last permanent node. What was the last permanent node? Like see, A to G and A to B are the two nodes which has been connected to B. Now the third point says, assign a cumulative cost to each node and make it tentative. Okay. Now see over here, like assign a cost. Like what is the cost? 2A 6G. 2A and 6G. What is the path that will be taken? This is the path that will be taken. This is the path that will be taken. Now what is the next point? Among the list of tentative nodes, find the node with smallest cost and make it permanent. What is the smallest cost? From A to B it is 2, from A to G it is 6. Now coming, like we have taken this path. Why? Because this has the least type of cost. Now what it says? It says, if a node can be reached from more than one route, then select the route with the shortest cumulative path, shortest cumulative cost of path. Now what, like see, if at all if you are coming from here, like from A to B and B to, like from B you can see what is the cost. The cost is 7, here the cost is 2. So this will take an optimal path of going to this E. And if at all, if one node has two sub nodes, like two connecting nodes, in that node it will take the least cost. So this is how it will work. Now what it says, if a node can be reached from more than one route, then select the route with the shortest cumulative cost. Now what is the fifth step? What it says, repeat 2 to 4, like step 2 to 4 until node becomes permanent. So until you reach the source from the destination, from the source to the destination, you should see the optimal path of cost. You will see the optimal path of cost. This is what you call as shortest path routing or shortest path routing. Okay, this is what you call as shortest path routing. Now understood? If at all, if you want, like this is something like very much easy, but this looks complex. Like if at all, if you see, if at all, if you are playing a game, so for every of the point you will see the shortest path and you will see the alternative path. If at all, if you are playing an alternative path, you will see what is the distance, and if at all, if you are seeing a straight path, you will see the distance. If these two of the distance are equal, you will take the shortest path. That's the only concept over here. You move to every of the node, you will see the shortest path, you move on the shortest path. You stop at every of the node, you see the shortest path, you move on the shortest path. This is what you call as shortest path algorithm. Now coming toward the last part of your algorithm, the last part for today's session algorithm is flooding. Now what do you mean by flooding? Flooding means at every of the node, the information of the packet is being sent to every of the connecting nodes. Like for instance, I have been connected to 5 nodes. The router 1 is been connected to 5 nodes. I'll send that packet on all 5 of the nodes. So what will happen to this? This will create duplication of the packets. This will create the duplication of the packet. Like what it says, another static algorithm is flooding, in which every of the incoming packet is sent out on every outgoing line except the one it arrived on. In the sense, if at all at router 1 there are 3 routers connected, B, C, D. So this router A will send the data to B, C and D, and it will not send it to itself. That is the first part. What is second one? What it says? Flooding obviously generate vast number of duplicate packets. Like see, if at all, if you consider this example, I am at A and I am sending the data to B and G. Now at this G will send the data to E and this C, and this E will send the data to G and to F, and this F will send the data to C. In the sense, this information or the packet is being duplicated at every of the nodes. This packet is duplicated at the node. So that's the reason it is called as flooding. So what is third one? It says in one such measure is to have a hop count. Hop count in the sense you will be having a value to that router and you will decrement that on every other route so that duplication can be reduced. For instance, I will tell you, if at all if you are using a WhatsApp, if you get the same video on same day 2 times, that video will be automatically downloaded as soon as it has arrived. It will not re-download it again. So because that packet is already been received on your WhatsApp the same day. So what it does, it will copy that information and it will not download to save the data. So what it says, like it will have a hop count contained in the header of each packet, which is decremented at each hop, with the packet being discarded when the counter reaches 0. Ideally, the hop count should be initialized to the length of the path from source to destination. Like as I have told you, the routing table contains every of the information. So what it does is, like it will create an hop count and it will decrement at every of the node. So when it comes to the destination node, it will be set as 0. If at all there are 5 routers in the row. So what I'll set the hop count as 5. For every of the node it reaches, it will decrement to 1, 1, 1. So at the last, when it comes to the destination, the hop count will be 0. So the packet will be received. So the next one, what it says, a variation of flooding that is slightly more practical in selective flooding. In this algorithm, the router do not send every incoming packet out on every line, only on those lines that are going approximately in the right direction. Now what do you mean by selective flooding? Selective flooding in the sense, I will be flooding that packet onto that particular router only, so to reduce duplication. to reduce duplication, and this is not practically possible in networks. In most of the application that is not been used, as it will take it, as it is time consuming, as well as the what you call as the quality of the packets is reduced, the quality of the service is reduced. Okay, this is what you call as flooding. This is what you call as flooding. So in the next session we are going to learn about distance vector routing. So that's all for today's session, and I hope you understood. If at all if you have any of the doubts, or if at all you have anything to ask, reach me out at the email address rahmat _ali 2u numerical 2 alphabetical u at yahoo.com. That's all for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you understood. That's all for now. Have a great day. See you in the next session. Thank you.